when you're not in a good mental health space, you go out drinking, you get drunk, you miss your workouts, you know what I mean? You fall apart. I'm not drinking anymore.
Yeah.
Right?
That's huge.
I'm not feeling bad anymore. I'm not waking up with hangovers. I'm not wasting 20, 30, 40 bucks. I'm buying Legos.
I'm buying Legos, y'all.
Bitches, right? I'm building my Ferrari car. I got Legos within reach, right?
I got Lego money for days.
Jokes in the gym. Jokes in the gym. Not jokes in the gym. Jokes in the gym. Jokes in the gym. With Rudy Tyburczy.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Jokes in the Gym with Rudy Lego Money Tyburczy. Holla! Thank you for stopping by this week. I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad to share a conversation with you today that I had with my friend Duante Barnett, a comedian out of Seattle, Tacoma. We met down at the Savage Henry Comedy Festival in Eureka, as many of us do. And yeah, we hit it off. We had a fun time together immediately. And so it was nice when he expressed interest in being on the show. So it was fun to catch up. I've been on his podcast too. And he's a fun guy. He's an interesting guy. And I will say, an opinionated guy, and he uses some language that some viewers and or listeners may find objectionable. So, buckle your ear belts for that one. And, you know, that's how it goes. This is a show that I try to create a space where people feel comfortable sharing their story. That's what I want. I want to talk with people, and I want us to feel able to be who we are, you know, authentically. And so I feel great when a guest is able to do that. And I feel like Duante really shares his opinions and his thoughts, and it's really fun to play with him and chat about a bunch of different stuff and connect again. So very cool. And yeah, I mean, it's been nice lately, hasn't it? Hasn't it been kind of nice? Or it's also been awful. Isn't everything always awful? It's always awful, and it's always kind of nice. Can we agree on that? It's always awful, and it's always kind of nice. I feel like that's like a slogan for life. That's got to be it, right? It's always awful, and it's always kind of nice, because it is. It's always awful. It's the worst constantly. The worst things are happening to people right now. I hate that. It sucks. And also, you look outside, it's pretty cool. You might see a snake or a bunny. Like, that's kind of nice, you know? So I feel like life's about accepting that and doing what you can to make a little bit more kind of nice, you know? Like, I just want my vibe around me to be kind of nice. That sounds good for the most part. And when I can't be kind of nice, I just want to be by myself, and that's kind of nice, you know? So it's good to kind of know your own boundaries, isn't it? We want to be comfortable being who we are, and sometimes that requires us just being on our own. And I think I'm getting a little more used to that. I think I need that a little more than I realized. And so it's been fun lately to allow myself that grace, to seek a little more solitude, but also seek companionship and fellowship with others. I'm not a total hermit or anything, but I don't go out as much as I used to. Part of that is just simply work. You know, I've got a job. I've got a day job. That is like, whoa. My day job is great. I really am glad that I have it. I'm so thankful to work at the Y. But sometimes it is job B, and it is fast-paced, and it is coming at you left and right nonstop for that entire shift. And working with the public in that kind of way is cool. It is fun. It tests you in a lot of ways. You get to interact with humans of a variety of different ages and backgrounds. It's so cool. I really do and appreciate that. And so then there are also days where you know what it's like with a job. People with jobs. People with jobs, you know what it's like to job? I'm just talking about jobs right now. Guys, we've got jobs to do. Why aren't we out there doing our jobs? What's your job? Tell me. Tell me what your job is. I would honestly love to hear. Send me an email, jokesandthegym@gmail.com. I want to hear from people. I don't know much about my listeners, quite honestly, because I'm just doing this because I really like talking with my friends and putting out fun content that's like thoughtful conversations. I think having meaningful conversations with people is so valuable. I find so much value in these conversations. And I think a big part of that is because I'm trying to learn from people. I'm giving people the opportunity. I want to hear what they think. And so I'm happy to have found this medium and be able to do that. And my planning is getting so much better. Oh my gosh. Last week I recorded 4 of these, you guys. I recorded 4 podcasts last week. It was awesome. On Monday, I recorded with Jesse. On Thursday, it was Duante. On Friday, it was Bert. And on Saturday, it was Seth. It was so cool to talk with so many friends all week. And I'm really glad that I did that because now I have an abundance of episodes for the next 2 weeks that I can work on when it comes time to work on them. Because it's about finding, like, when do I have the time to actually dedicate to doing the thing I want to do? And I want to make this podcast. So it's like, okay, I got to choose that. I wrote down the other day in my notebook, socks or socializing. And I keep meaning to tell this like joke. It's just an idea about, because sometimes it's about, I have to make my mind up about whether I want clean socks for the entire week or if I want to go do a set at the end of the night in front of who knows how many people. So it's like socks or socializing. And it's like, I have to choose socks sometimes because nobody wants to socialize with the smelly guy. Nobody wants that. Nobody's like, oh, look at that smelly guy who appears to be in need of help. I bet he's very interesting. I should give him my number. That's not a common refrain I hear at the club. You know what I mean? So it's about making choices and being okay with that. Because we've always got choices. And so we're always going to be choosing one thing or another. And if you don't know what to do, then you would want to talk to my make-believe sponsor, Johnny's Choose-a-thon. If you got a choice to make and you're dragging your feet, call Johnny's Choose-a-thon. We'll choose something. It probably won't be good. You probably won't like it. And it won't be as good as dealing with your own consequences. Johnny's Choose-a-thon. We'll just put it off for you. And there you go. That's my fake sponsor today. I can't wait to see what AI makes out of that. And I can't wait to see what the world makes out of you. Because who freaking knows what's going to happen, you know what I mean? And it's exciting to think about what might happen with Duante someday. He seems like he's working hard to get his life on the direction, on the path that he wants it to be on. And that's admirable. I really respect that. So I hope you enjoy my conversation with Duante, Suitman, Barnett.
Yo, what is up, everybody? Thank you for stopping in today. I'm stoked to have my guest on the pod today. We met at a comedy festival in Eureka, California at the Savage Henry Comedy Festival. He's got podcasts. He's doing comedy. He's in the Seattle area. Put your hands together for the very funny Duante, Suitman, Barnett.
Right. I'm deaf, so I always do. That's the applause for ASL.
Yeah, the headphones are just purely for show. You're just guessing.
I'm reading your lips.
It's lip reading. Yeah, you're good. We better hope the lag doesn't pop up too much. Oh my gosh. Yeah, man. Duante, Big D, how's it going?
Man, I hit a fucking flying gas can yesterday at 100 miles an hour and fucking dented up my headlight. So,
dude,
I'm a little pissed off.
Did it just come out of nowhere? What happened? Did someone chuck it out of a car? What's going on? I have no
clue. I'm pretty sure somebody chucked it out of a car. I was in the middle of the lane and I looked and I saw this fucking gas can. And instead of going the way it was, I went left trying to get away instead of turning into where it was coming from.
Man,
hit my headlight, busted my hood, and
That sucks. So there's like visible damage?
Oh yeah, I drive
Oh.
a Mini Cooper, and there's a little chrome ring that goes around the headlight. The chrome ring knocked off. The headlights knocked down and broke it, and the hood's
Jeez.
busted in a little bit, a couple inches.
That sucks. You're like half of a Mini Cooper yourself, though, aren't you?
You son of a bitch! I've been working out. I've been working on losing weight.
That's
No
not
fat
what
shaming
I
here.
don't, I'm not fat shaming. Don't put fat in my mouth.
I heard what you said. We're gonna get you canceled today.
No, you're like 6'2", 6'3". When I met you, you looked like you had swallowed Easy-E. Like that was how.
That's how everybody.
It
looked
was at
me.
the softball game, and then you were straight out of SeaTac, I think, right? You're a Seattle Tacoma fella.
Yep.
Am I right on that?
Yep, I'm straight out of Seattle. I drove down there, but yeah.
Heck yeah, dude. Now I see you also doing all these like announcing like jobs for sports teams. What are you doing? You were like with the Kraken and all sorts of stuff. What's going on with that?
I do stats. I do concert work.
Uh-huh.
I do stage management. I do a little bit of everything. I was working as a peer counselor, but I got fired for being too real.
Oh, too much of a peer.
Well, it's they don't like strong alpha men in these kind of situations, right? Let alone
Yeah.
a black strong alpha male. And
Yeah.
no, I'm not going to listen to Jimmy cry all day. I don't
Yeah.
want to hear about what's going on. I was in a position where I was supposed to get people jobs,
Uh-huh.
so I didn't want to hear your bullshit. I didn't have time for it.
Yeah. You
I'm
wanted to
supposed
cut.
cut the fat.
Yeah. Get to it.
You're not supposed to do that. You're too this. You're too that. No, you guys are mad. I say things you can't say. You know what I mean? There's that whole, like, if you're too far left, you're almost right. If you're too far right, you're almost left, right?
Yeah.
If you're too worried about everything and all this trauma-informed language and all these things, are you really even doing the job?
It's hard to enact change when everything is so slow moving.
Bingo.
Like it just goes so slowly, and we have to watch so much. And this is not some diatribe on cancel culture, but I've been in similar positions. I am a person who doesn't shut up and can't keep my mouth shut when I see things that I need to speak on, and that doesn't always sit well with employers.
Right? And if I think something's a piece of shit or I don't like something, I'm going to say it. If I don't believe what you're saying to me, I'm going to tell you.
Yeah.
They were like, you can't say certain things to people. I said, no, you're a white woman. I'm
Yeah.
a big, large black guy.
Yeah.
There's things I'm going to be able to say to people that you can't say, and
Yeah.
vice versa.
Right.
That's part of who I am. That's part of why I'm here.
Uh-huh.
If you don't like it, oh, fucking well.
So do you have that hard line in the sand, or do you sometimes soften and adjust? Do you find that as a skill that you try to utilize in your day-to-day life?
Yes and no. I'd say no. I don't. I'm a hard line kind of person.
Yeah.
And I don't mind being that because I think we need that.
Yeah.
You can't have 75 guys crying because you lost your mom. There's got to be the one guy saying, hey, man, we got to get over this. Right?
Yeah.
There's got to be the one guy who says, hey, your mom's in a better place, but you got to go make some money to feed your kids. There's got to be the one person who tells you, hey, man, wake the fuck up.
And do you feel like that's your role? That's where you succeed.
Yeah, and I'm very good at it. When my friends need help, whether it's a comedian, coworker, friend, family, when the shit hits the road, I'm the one they call.
Yeah.
I
love
ahead.
that.
And that's my thing. I'd rather people don't call me when they want it buttered up. They don't call me when they want their hand held. They call me when they want to make a decision or make an action or move forward with something.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd rather be that kind of person than the person that's just okay with you being mediocre.
Right. I think that's so important. That's such a gift that you know that about yourself and that your friends know that about you, because we teach other people how to treat us, right? We show the world how to treat us with just how we step into a room. And yes, there is some privilege that I have or that you have or that other people have. I recognize that. But we also have an impact on on the world around, on the situations around us, and we're not just impacted by what's going on around us.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I love that. I love that you're the real talk guy. I know. I also have friends when I want to cry that I know how to call. Do you have a friend that you can call when you need a cry?
No.
No. Do you ever cry? Are you a cry guy?
Yeah, by myself.
Yeah. Does it help?
No.
It sucks. Crying sucks. I mean, I cry. I think it's fine to cry.
You know, is it okay to cry? Sure. Is it a release? Yeah. I don't know if it helps.
Yeah. I feel
right. Like, yes.
It's gotta help. I feel like it's gotta help. Otherwise, why would our body make us do it? I don't know.
No, you ejaculate, and that doesn't really help anything.
What do you mean? Of course it helps. It helps the world. It's
No,
why
it
we're
doesn't.
here.
As some of you people who shouldn't be ejaculating, trust me.
Are you
Sorry.
ejaculation shaming? Oh my gosh, Duante.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. We don't need any more you short kings around here. If you're not over 5'8". That's fucked up. There's a lot to
6'1" and above. Those are the ejaculators.
Coffees for closers. Remember that, Glenn? I finally watched. You know, this whole time I've never watched Glenn Close, whatever it is.
Glengarry Glen Ross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I finally watched it about a month ago.
I don't know how was it?
Sometime within this last month, right? Oh my fucking God.
Yeah.
Like, I've sold timeshare, I've done telemarketing. Yeah.
It speaks to you.
Yeah. Like, you fucking cuck. You're the manager. You're supposed to be helping us do our job, not fucking with people. What the fuck is wrong with this guy? We need the leads. Do you got the leads? I need the leads. Anybody can sell if we can get some leads, right?
I think they must speak at the speed that's good for you. You just go a mile a minute, and that seems like what Glen Ross was.
Basically. And it wasn't so much it was a mile a minute, but if you sold cars, timeshare, leads, you've had to buy leads, real estate. There's so many parallels here, right? And then like Al Pacino's trying to put the guy together and do this deal, and the manager says something, and next thing you know, it cancels. So he cancels his deal, and the guy didn't know what he was saying. You're supposed to be able to go with the ride, and if you don't know what you're doing, don't say shit. Just so many.
Yeah.
Like, I think my best close ever. I closed it like a $15,000 website.
Hell
made
yeah.
$3,000, right?
Booyah.
And I was talking to this guy about this $800 marketing package.
Uh-huh.
And I brought up we built websites. And he was like, well, how much is a website? And I was like, why the fuck would I talk to you about a website? And you've been hemming and hawing on $800, man. I ain't got time for this shit. Now, if you got a gold American Express or platinum or something like that, I'm not talking to you anymore. And we're definitely not talking about websites.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, I'll see you tomorrow. I was like, whatever, dude.
And
next day about noon, hey, there's a guy here looking for Mike Barber. Because I didn't go by my name. Because my name's Duante, right? And you call in the South, they know Dante's a black guy. Have you ever met a white Duante, right? So, I went by Mike Barber. Mike Barber. How you doing? This is Mike Barber over at visible.net. I even changed my voice a little bit, get a little nasally. How you doing, fella? What's going on, buddy? Hey, hi. Ooh.
Very, I'm sorry to bother you.
Yes. Hey, Rudy, this is Mike Barber. Oh, I didn't mean to catch it. Again, this is Mike Barber over at visible.net. I was hoping you had a minute. Do you mind if I get, you hear all that?
You're nailing it. You're doing the Danny Glover when he did that in the movie. And it's
fuck.
Totally different voice.
That reminded me when he was like, you got to talk to white people different.
Yeah. And wasn't it like Patton Oswalt's voice, I think? I think it was some famous comedian's voice, too, that it went to. It's ridiculous. It was such a good movie.
But that's the whole idea, I think, behind some of these things. And just watching it. If you've never been in sales, you're not going to get it, right?
Right.
If you've ever been screwed by a salesman, it's probably going to make you feel dirty, right?
Yeah.
But if you've been in sales, or you've been around sales and you've had to deal with salespeople.
Mhm.
Oh, the movie is just right. There was no real plot. I think it ended by I don't even remember how it ended. I think somebody committed suicide. Oh, that's what it was. They robbed. Never mind. You got to watch it. I mean,
Spoilers.
I'm not.
Glengarry Glen Ross. Spoilers, bro. Come on, Duante. Do you get upset with spoilers? Would you be mad if someone spoiled Glengarry?
No, because it's 28, 30 years old. You know, if you haven't watched it by now, it's your fault, right?
It's your
it's
fault.
It's not really a spoiler. It's not like we're talking about like who's the fucking father of fucking Luke Skywalker. Did you know it was Darth Vader?
What?
Like, we're not. There's not a trilogy or a whole quartet of movies you've watched to get to this final answer, right?
It's just 3 names in one movie. I don't even know what that Glengarry Glen Ross. What are those last names? What is this? What is the significance
It's
of this?
supposedly like a firm.
Oh, okay.
So it's a real estate. They're a timeshare company.
Oh, okay.
And it's not even timeshare. It was like it was real estate, vacation rentals, but it's the same idea of timeshare because that's what timeshare turned into. So they used to, and this is how timeshare started. They'd sell you some piece of shit land in Arizona. You know what I mean? I got this land in Arizona. We got these lands in fucking, Florida. And you get out there and you're in the middle of a swamp with 47 gators, but you own property in Florida, right?
Yeah.
It was a whole scheme. I mean, you're a little bit younger than me, but it was a whole scheme in the 80s, 70s,
How old do you
80s.
think I am, Duante?
Like 36.
I'm 40.
No, you're an old fuck then. Never mind. You're still younger than me. By the way, guess what? You're still younger than me. Black don't crack. I'll be 43 this year, you son of a bitch.
Hell yeah. And people never guess you're 43, I bet.
Oh, no. Never. Had a black guy the other day be like, how you doing, young man? I was like, young man? I'm probably older than you. And he's like, no, you're not. I'm 41. I was like, I'm 42, motherfucker. And he's like, you're not that much older than me. I was like, yeah, but I'm not a young man anymore, bitch. I've earned my stripes. Oh.
I get young man all the time. People are like, oh, well, you're still young. I'm like, I have a 4 in my age. I'm not a young man.
No, the first digit's a 4. Now, saying you're 24 doesn't fucking matter. I'm 14. You better respect me. I'm 4 in my
I'm faux. I'm faux.
There is a time where you were 4 and you're like, that did mean you were the man of the house because you were 4. No longer 3. I'm 4.
Only the thumb. I can't use. I'm just 4 fingers. Yeah.
You never went like this. I'm 4.
I sometimes do that. I've lived overseas, and so that has screwed with the numbers sometimes. Sometimes I'll do the 1, 2, 3. Hana dul set, like with the thumb out, or the German way, or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. I think I'm. The other day at work, one of my cool new young coworkers was like, "You're very age ambiguous." And I just liked it. I'd never heard age ambiguous before, but it made sense.
White people are making up all kinds of shit now, right?
He was a black man. He was a black man. Because I was like, the first day on the job, I asked him if he was up to speed with the Kendrick Drake beef. And so then we spent like 5 minutes watching videos about it. It was great. It was a connective moment. And then he was like, I just don't get your age. And I like that. I'm like, I'm in there being a young looking ass weirdo, but I'm old as hell. I'm like so much older than everybody I work with. Do you ever get that where you're like way older than your coworkers?
So I'm a security guard at a club, right? And it's a hip hop club.
Yeah.
So most of our patrons are 25 and under, 25, 28 to 22, right?
Yeah.
And I'll be, being nice. Hey, you guys look good. Morning, ladies. Don't hit on me. And I'm like, bitch, I'm old enough to be your dad. I'm not one of those guys that's okay with fucking girls that could be his daughter's age, right? Like,
yeah.
You're closer to my, I know this daughter's 16. You're 22. I'm 42. That is not okay.
Doesn't work with you.
I will forever be the guy who feels like if you're closer to my kid's age than mine, I have a problem with that.
I feel like that's reasonable.
Especially when you start having kids at 26. That gives me a 13-year gap, right?
Why'd you do that?
I'm black. You know, there's. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Like, I found out I was pregnant with she was pregnant with my daughter when I was 25, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, I made it. I haven't been locked up. I'm not dead, and I haven't had a kid by 25.
Killing it. 26 comes around though.
Got a kid. Got a charge. No, I'm fucking with you. It was 36 when I got the charges. That's totally different.
26 kids, yeah.
Yeah, but it's one of those where, you know, I'm around those people. Like, you brought up, like, I don't even know what's up with this Drake Kendrick Lamar beef.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard it. I really do like the song "They Not Like Us." That because it has
so
nothing to
good.
do with. If you're looking for a chord, it'll be an A minor. So,
Yeah. The guy's got punchlines,
Right,
killer
but-
punchlines.
and even "They Not Like Us," they not like us. Like, just saying people aren't like me. Kind
It
of
feels
cool,
so
right?
good.
But then on the other side of the beef, a lot of you guys don't get this. Is a light skinned mixed black dude
Uh-huh.
for Darky to challenge my ability to say the N word.
Mm,
There's a lot of black culture in there that people don't get,
right.
and probably you don't even understand.
Totally.
And as a mixed person, when people challenge my blackness,
Right.
get the fuck out of here. And that's the part of it that has pissed me off.
Right.
Well, Drake did blackface. He didn't do blackface. He's fucking black. They painted his face, right?
Yeah.
I don't like the way he says nigga. How is he supposed to say it?
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Right.
these are all conversations I've had in real life.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I feel a certain way because of it, if that makes any
course.
sense, right?
Of course.
But there's also this is it. I feel like they had a black conversation in front of white people.
Okay. Yeah. I see
Right?
that.
Like,
Yeah.
there's certain, like, and it was just like, oh, okay, well, white people are challenging Drake on if he can say the N-word now. Okay.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's not the place of white people to challenge that, but we can listen to it because it's
I'm not
out
saying
here
you
for
can't.
public
I'm not
consumption.
saying you can't. I'm not. I'm like, Rudy's like, hold on, I didn't say. That's not my point. It's the fact that it's out there now. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it's not anybody's fault, but it's just like, this is what we're at. This is where we're at in the beef, or whatever you want to call it. And so now
Right.
everybody's talking about it, and it's just, that's all. I'm getting older.
Yeah.
Like, when I was younger, I'd have been like, yeah. Now that I'm older, I'm like, I don't know if that's a good look for us as black people.
Right. Well, it reminds me of a question I saw on a podcast by a couple New York Knicks players. Josh Hart and Jalen Brunson have a podcast. There were college teammates at Villanova. Now they play for the Knicks together, and they have a podcast called Roommates. And they have a guy on their team named Isaiah Hartenstein, and he's as white looking as me. He's got red hair, but his dad was a player on the Oregon Ducks team, Flo Hartenstein, and he's half black. His dad is half black, but Isaiah does not look black
At all.
at all. And on that podcast,
I know exactly who you're talking about.
right, he's white. He's
a
white.
white guy.
But Josh Hart on his podcast challenges him but not in a combative way. He goes, "Explain to me your blackness," and that's a question asked by a black man to another man who is a black man, to Isaiah Hartenstein. And Isaiah Hartenstein goes, "You know how you're light skinned?" He goes, "I'm bright skinned." Which is a totally new term. I'd never heard bright skin, because his dad is a black man, and I have friends who are black and whose kids may or may not look like a black person. You know,
I like how you're trying to tiptoe around. This is hilarious. I mean, I'm not. Isaiah Hartenstein is what we used to call past. Okay.
Okay.
And I'm glad you brought this up, because I was just talking to a guy at work about this yesterday. The idea of being passed isn't that you died; it's that you pass for white.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Right.
And so there's a whole level of frustration, right?
Mm-hmm.
Racism. Like, do you think this kid's really ever dealt with racism?
Probably not. Well, he may have seen his father deal with it.
Right.
Yeah.
And then who's to say he hasn't?
Yeah.
Who's to say people haven't come up to him and been like, "Hey, man, what are you doing with this white kid?" He's like, "He's my son." No, he's not. Right.
Yeah. Right.
right? Like Gary Owens joked about how many people probably thought he was the basketball coach, not the actual dad, right? Now, at this point, it's because Gary's white and he's got 2 black-looking kids. But in this case, he's the black coach with white kids. That's definitely not his kid. You don't go from black to bleach white, right? And then I just spent a couple of minutes because I knew once you said the name, I had heard about it, right? I know who the guy is, kind of, right? Because they just were showing it. And I was like, that guy's fucking white. And they're like, nah, he's mixed. I said, no.
Yeah.
I'd probably beat him up if I saw him saying the N-word.
Right. Yeah. People would be like, you can't say that.
Oh, no, I'd just punch him. There would be no talk. It would probably I'd literally be like, what the fuck you say, white boy? So that's funny you say that, because down south, it's a funny story. I was playing basketball when I went to Morehouse, and I'm a rough player, and this guy was fouling the shit out of me, and I finally turned and said, look here, nigga, you foul me again, I'm going to whoop your ass.
Yeah.
And he said, look here, cracker, you call me nigga again, and I'm going to whoop your ass. And I looked around, I was like, I don't see any Ritz. I don't even see any saltines. I don't even see any white people. Who the fuck are you talking to? And my buddy had to grab me. He's like, he's talking to you. And my buddy was not as bright as Isaiah. He had blonde hair, but he still had a tone to him. He had a black nose. You could tell he was black. And he's like, hey, man, look around. It's me and you. You want to do this? And I was like, holy. No, I'm good.
Maybe not. I'm okay.
Right? But so I get it. That's what I'm getting at here, is like this whole colorism thing it's real. And so to have a guy like Isaiah Hardenstein or whatever his name is, I can only imagine how frustrating that must be, right? It's not that he faces racism, it's that he faces ridicule from the black community, right? And then he's stuck in white spaces where people act racist and don't know he's black. Which would be probably even harder in a sense, right? To be hanging out at the country club, to be hanging around with these kids, right? And them not know who your dad, you get what I mean? It's not everybody knows his dad's a former NBA player. They're not always thinking that when they see him. They're not always thinking that when he's in his spaces, right? I think when these rich kids go out, they're at the club, not everybody knows why you're there. They just know you're one of the rich kids we see at school, right? So he goes to the party and he's around these white guys and go, hey, did you see the new black kid? Did you see those bleep shoes he was wearing? He's like, hey, man, that's not cool. I'm part black. And they're like, yeah, whatever. He's like, no, for real, man. Whatever, dude. Okay, whatever. You're so woke.
Yeah.
Imagine being downplayed in that sense.
It must be really tough.
Right? So he's got his own battles, but in the same sense, ain't nobody walking around being like, ha, N-word, right?
Right.
What's up, jigaboo? Hey, tar baby. Nobody, he's not.
He's not getting that.
No. So it's this, and I've talked about this intersectional racism, right?
Yeah.
Do you know what it's like looking Polynesian to everybody?
No.
Right? We talked about this. The 2 guys that look Polynesian at the Savage Handling Festival weren't even Polynesian. The other big guy was fucking Chinese, and I'm black and white. And the one guy who was Polynesian, everybody thought he was black, right?
Yeah.
So it was like, it was so funny to see how these things work. And then not only these things work, but, I'll take it one step further. So I do a show called Def Comedy Jam. And I'm intersectionally diverse. What I mean by that is I'm an introvert and an extrovert. I'm a jock and I'm a nerd. I'm black and I'm white. I'm partial deaf. I'm Asperger's, which isn't fully autistic, but I have my issues, right? So I'm always in the in-between of everything, right?
Yeah.
And so I do my show Def Comedy Jam, DEAF. We translate comedy for deaf and hearing audience.
Oh, nice.
Well, 2 things. I had a comic steal the show, and it's going to probably be trying to do it in Sacramento. They didn't like the way I stood up for myself in the deaf community. And the way I stood up is because since I don't know ASL, some people say I'm not part of deaf culture.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
I'm still deaf. I still don't hear everything. I still have things miscommunicated. I still tune out of conversations when I can't hear things and people aren't trying to articulate for me. Right? I still miss when people are talking to me. I'm still partial deaf.
Yeah. Yeah. Who's to say you are or aren't, other than you?
Right? The fucking audiologist who fucking tested my hearing. That's who. The stapedectomy I had where they fucking put a new bone in my ear. The scar on my left ear. There's a ton of shit. I'm not, you know what I mean? But
right. You don't have to go into that. It's not your job or responsibility. You shouldn't have to go into that to defend a part of your identity.
Same thing with Isaiah, right?
Yeah.
And so I get it. I don't look deaf.
Right.
He doesn't look black.
Yeah.
But he's still black, and I'm still deaf, right?
Yeah.
So I get all of that. But there's an intersectional, I think it's not so much racism, but a division. Everybody wants to be a part of a group and be special. And so when you're mixed in all these different groups, nobody wants you.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think of when we met, and I was talking about how I'm Norwegian. I'm half Norwegian. My mom's Norwegian. And I asked you, I said, are you Norwegian? All, like half jokingly. And then how did you respond?
I was like, yes, bitch, 5th generation, motherfucker. And you were just like, yeah, I'm black and I'm Norwegian. And you were just,
I'm like, yeah,
sure.
And
you're like, sure. No, fucker, like, for real. And you were just, yeah, my grandpa's was Einar Hammer. Because he's from Einar is a fucking Norwegian name.
Yeah.
E-I-N-A-R. Einar Hammer.
Yeah.
And he was Hammer because he's from Lillehammer, y'all.
Lillehammer?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And your face is just like, you're fucking, no, I know we're all comedians. And you're like, no, but you're joking. It's, no, Rudy, I'm fucking Norwegian. You're like, okay, we get it, bro. You don't have to get so high. What do you mean? Oh, now you get it? Now that I'm mad about you?
I've never seen a madder Norwegian.
What the fuck? That's what angry little black guy says.
Yeah.
Because there's that one Palestinian comedian or Jewish comedian who's Palestinian. He's trying to explain he's Palestinian, and somebody goes, yeah, that's one angry little Jew, ain't it? Same idea.
Yeah. Well, I think it just speaks to the idea that we never know what's going on for someone else. We're so fucking high on our horses all the time. But then when you take 5 minutes to talk with someone, you're going to learn a lot that you probably had no idea about.
And in the same token, Mike Cateo, right? He's got spina bifida, right?
Uh-huh.
And he was the one, and remember, he was trying to park, and he parked all fucked up in front of everybody. He's like, hey, man, I see your legs don't work. That doesn't mean you can't drive, right? And he's like, hey, fuck you, right?
Yeah.
And got all mad. I was like, well, I got a podcast where he's like, what's that? I was like, dating with disabilities. And he's like, you're not disabled. I was like, oh, we're going there. I was like, you want to see my ear tattoo? You want to go there, dude? I'm fucking Asperger. Give me that. So it's, oh, you got me going. But these are the things, right? Like I do a podcast called Dating with Disabilities. And two things. So first off, I'm finally getting interviewed by our local paper.
Oh, cool.
Now, it's not the Seattle Times, the big one. It's the Seattle Medium. But it's still a paper that gets printed and people read it, and it's in other businesses, and some people follow it, right?
Is it really called the Seattle Medium?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. It's like a smooth medium roast.
Fuck you, buddy. Yeah, I heard what you said. Like, you don't wear a medium. That's definitely an extra large, dude. At least double X. We haven't got to the health portion. Maybe you'll get down to me. You're an asshole, Rudy. I'm tired of you fat shaming me.
I know.
You know, we're getting canceled today. Fuck that. You're a fat shamer, and you hate black people who look white, right? Fucking it. But so I get set up for this interview. They're all happy, right? Fuck, what was the point I was having? So
Medium, the Seattle Medium, interviewed.
Gotcha. And so they're like, hey, you do the podcast for dating, you do Autistic Artists, which is my podcast, interviewing autistic people, right? Which is Rudy's been on. We got to get you on Dating with Disabilities.
Heck yeah.
Right? But so we talk to autistic people and ADHD people and people that are neurodivergent, right? And then she's like, you do all these shows. I've got Social Security influencers. I was doing the Raw show, Ridiculously Amazing Women, Black and Proud, which is black and gay. And for those of you looking, look, we got stickers. If you want stickers, find Suitman Productions. We'll send you stickers. We got Black and Proud stickers. Yeah,
look
right?
at that.
So
Loving
that's
them.
obviously not black and proud like me, but black and rainbow, right?
Yeah.
Black and proud, right?
Hell
so I do all these, and they were like, oh my God, I looked you up and I saw all your stuff. And I was like, I can't believe nobody's done a story on you. And I was like, So the reason why I said all this is they came to my recording of Dating with Disabilities last Sunday.
Oh,
So they came to
cool.
my house. They were sitting behind me, and we had Benny Shakes on, who's from UK.
All right.
Now Benny's starting to make it pretty big. He's doing his own disabled cants, not disabled cunts, but disabled cants, right? And he's got his whole disabled shows. He's doing well. He's making noise over there, right?
Yeah.
And we're sitting there talking, and did you know he came out on our show?
Oh, wow. There you go.
Right? Now, I want you to think about something. I do a podcast where somebody came out on my show. That doesn't happen. Not only does that not happen, but when she was sitting here, he was the repeat guest last time.
Oh, wow.
So he talked about it.
Yeah.
And how his life sucked and he was miserable. And then when he came out on his show, it was such a... And I'm just sitting here like, I can't pay this fucker to say this shit while the fucking ladies are doing it.
Yeah, it's just the
Right?
reporters eating it up.
Yeah, she's like, oh my God. And I'm like, I didn't pay him to do this. And he's even like, I'm not paying you for this either. Like, he even said those, like, but what are the this is what this is like. To think that an entertainer came out on my show and now I'm interviewing them a year and a half later and they have a trans woman as a girlfriend, which they wouldn't have been able to do before because they weren't, you get what I mean? They mentally weren't allowing themselves to be themselves.
Right.
And to hear somebody express that your podcast got them into that place, what?
That's got to feel great.
And it wasn't even just feel great. It was, this is why I do this. This is why I'm here. There is a million times, whether it's your podcast or being on mine or doing podcasts or comedy in general, where you're like, why am I here? Right? Like, what am I doing? I'm not making any money. Am I even making an impact? You know what I mean? Like, none of us are really making money, right? So there's got to be something more to this. Or am I making an impact? Am I being heard? Am I being felt? Am I changing? I am doing that.
Yeah.
And that is to sit there and have a reporter do your story and trace back and talk about all the things you're doing. And I even said, I hope I'm not being cocky. She was like, no, you're being pretty humble. You've done a lot of shit. And I asked you to tell me about the shit you've done. And there's a lot of shit you've done. That's not your fault. You know what I mean? Like,
no, yeah.
And it was kind of like when we were at the festival, right? And I think a lot of people downplayed who I was, but then when you found out who I was, people were like, oh, you're the Suitman. I've heard of you, right?
Cool.
And most people didn't know because I look like Easy and I'm this other guy. But when I was in my suit and tie, everybody was like, oh, shit, who the fuck are you? It was like the same asshole you didn't want to talk to at the softball game. Same Easy guy everybody was avoiding. I'm that same guy, right? And so there's a... Because I don't know if I told you, I felt really put off at that festival when I went to the softball game. Because nobody wanted to talk to me. Everybody was kind of, who are you?
Up and talk to you.
You're one person out of 100. Good job, Rudy.
Sorry. Sorry, I'll keep my mouth to myself next time.
Like that, but you get what I mean? Like, 3 or 4 people talked to me. Most of the people were just like, who's this big-ass black Samoan dude that looks like a drug dealer? It's like, no, I just drove 26 hours to get here and slept in my car. Right?
Smelly and hairy.
Right? So it's like these things, these intersections, these times, these moments, right? Do we all hope to get rich? Yeah, someday I do. But I know I can and probably will be because I'm doing does that make any sense? Like your podcast, I can already feel, and I've seen it, it's got a value. It's got a place. Well, does that mean you're going to become a millionaire off of it? No, but will you keep doing it? Will you find a niche? Will it probably never die? Yeah, because you've got something to talk about that's fun. And when you find those things, it's
important to hold on.
Yeah. And when you have that validation that it's actually working or done something for somebody or changed their life,
it's huge.
And that's the one, like I talked to somebody, we have these shows. Why did I start Dating with Disability? Because I thought Love on the Spectrum was a fucking joke. Right? When you watch Love on the Spectrum, everybody's got a disability. Most of them are severely on the spectrum.
Yeah.
Their grasp on reality isn't even really there. So everybody thinks all autistic people are people you can tell are autistic. We're not all people you can tell. I can tell who's autistic because I'm autistic. I can see it in them, and I'm like, hey, you're one of the special people. They're like, how do you know? I'm one. When I say I got radar, not radar, but I got radar.
I think you can say every word, Duante. I think that's what your identity is.
I've talked about that too. One of my jokes used to be, if I could say nigga, I could say retarded. And they're like, then I came off the stage and somebody was like, just because you're Polynesian doesn't mean I'm not Polynesian, you white bitch. You white devil. I was so fucking mad. But in part of it, that was where I had to learn in comedy. You have to teach people who you are in order to say your set.
Yeah.
So if you notice, I almost always do my jokes about being mixed or being black because I'm later going to say the N-word on stage, and I need you to know I'm black. So at the end, we don't have to fight about how I said it.
Yeah. So you don't get in a rap beef with someone.
I don't have Karen trying to cancel me because I offended black culture, right?
Yeah. All the warrior Karens out there, thank you for your service.
Jesus.
So, well, this is a health podcast, and I think we've touched on a ton of health, but one of the reasons you probably don't look 43 is because you do exercise. Is that right? You're hitting the gym? I see you on the leg press machine. You love that thing.
Yeah, I'm a 2 to 3 weeks a day, 2 to 3 days a week usually.
Yeah.
I also play softball. The biggest thing for me is I do about an hour to an hour and a half every time I go with a sauna suit on.
What does that mean? So you're in the sauna
with a sauna suit on. So it's a plastic sweatsuit.
Okay.
So you can't breathe. Oh yeah.
What does that do?
It makes you sweat profusely.
Oh my gosh. Do you not sweat enough?
No, it makes you sweat even more. And a lot of people would say it's something that boxers usually use. You've probably seen boxers wear them, right? When they're sweating, wrestlers, right? For me, I like it because it gets all the toxins out of me. So when you first start sweating and I'm in it and you can see the puddle of sweat, it's like cloudy and gray and it's got all this shit in it, right? Because that's the shit in your body. That's your toxins, whatever's going on, right? Like people don't understand your skin is one of the most is
gross.
It is permeable, right? It absorbs stuff. It's not it's gas permeable. It's water. It absorbs shit, right?
Yeah.
And so when you sweat for an hour and a half, you're sweating out a lot of toxins, right? You're sweating out a lot of water, right? You're getting a lot of sodium out, and then I'm drinking water the whole time. I'm also I've had both. I've had one shoulder reattached, and I've had another shoulder separated multiple times. Jeez. So I am not an arm guy.
No,
I am a leg guy.
You do
so
legs.
What you're referring to is I do 1,000. I just hit 1,000 pounds on leg press.
That's a lot of pounds, man.
And that's just my warm up. I walk in and I do 4 sets of 15 at 1,000 pounds.
Why? That sounds dangerous.
My legs feel fine.
There you go.
Right?
How's your form?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
People say you can go deeper. You're not supposed to go that deep on leg press.
Okay.
Like everybody wants you to get all the way back like this. No. You're pushing. You're using your fucking quads. This isn't about tearing the back of your hamstrings and using all those muscles. Leg press is for your quads.
So you're doing quad focused.
Yeah. You're not and think about when you do squats or standing squats and shit. You don't go all the way fucking down, you idiots.
Some people do.
That's not what you're supposed to do. That's not good form. You're supposed to get to an L.
You can't. I think there is debate in the health and fitness field about this. And I think if your body is able to go past 90 degrees healthily and your legs can do it without pain, give it a go. But I think people are so excited about going up in weight and they're not excited about gaining flexibility and mobility. And so that's part of why we limit our range of motion. But I continue.
I would say that weightlifting isn't to increase your flexibility. That's not where you should be looking to increase your flexibility. That's how you tear something. Stretching and yoga and all the other things are the places where you go to increase your flexibility. While you're working out, you're supposed to stay in your power range, right? And so that's where we agree to disagree, but like that power band where you're strongest at is 90 and above, right?
Right.
Now, below 90, yeah, you are working other muscles, but that's not your power area. I lift with a lot of weight, high torque, low speed. So I'm not going to go past 90. I'm the initial push guy and get it rolling, right? And so, trust me, we're on different sides of this, right? But again, I do 415s at heavy weight because I'm bigger. I'm not going 3 sets of 10 at lightweight or just what I prefer, I guess.
Yeah. And whatever you prefer, if you prefer like a powerlifting style, great. Do that. Find what works for you and do it in a safe way. There's tons of powerlifting techniques that are awesome and workouts that are great. I have found for me, when I go super heavy in weight, when I focus on weight like that, it just taxes my nervous system too much and I'm just spaghetti for days. So I just have tried to find a way as I get older to maintain energy levels on the legs on the days after I do legs.
Understood.
So it's like when you do these 1,000-pound leg presses, are you bouncing out? Are you able to like go have a set that night and feel good the whole rest of the day?
Oh yeah. Like I did, that was Monday. I went to work on the forklift Tuesday and Wednesday, 10, 11 hours, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying is like, I'm doing 4 sets of 15 at 1,000 pounds. I'm not doing 3 sets of 8 or, you know what I mean? Like I'm able to really work this weight to do it, right?
Yeah.
So it's like if I was doing 3 sets of 8, I probably could do 12 to 1,300, right?
Yeah.
But I'm doing and I think that when I told somebody that, they're like, that's too much weight. And I was like, I do 4 sets of 15. And then they're like, oh, never mind.
I mean, too much weight is relative, right? It's too much weight for me. I'm not chucking that much weight on there. I weigh 180 pounds, soaking wet.
I got you by 100 pounds, yeah.
And so it's like, I'm not trying to focus on giant plates. I'm at my age, that just doesn't feel good. And if it feels good for you, I'm like, hell yeah, I wish I could be powerlifting 1,000 pounds right now, but I can't. It's fun to focus on other shit. I'm going to group fitness classes. I'll focus on mobility and strength. You say it's like one or the other, but I've kind of been trying to find a hybrid. And I like these like side lunges and lateral things and single leg squats and single leg hinges. Like I like movements. I'm just in love with single leg hinges right now, which is a weird thing to say. I do love deadlifts. Do you deadlift? No, you don't deadlift. You're a press guy.
I'm all machines.
You're all machines.
Reason is that my joints. So I've got arthritis. I've had a repaired shoulder, a repaired knee, a repaired ear. And I got a finger. I got a hand that's about to turn into a trigger finger. If you can't tell.
Yeah.
I don't like free weights anymore.
Okay.
And it's just a controlled thing. I go work out on my own. I don't have a partner. I don't want a fucking partner. I don't need a spotter. Being in a machine is just a little bit more safer for me.
So what are your goals in the gym? I love the gym. I'm so happy to be there. I love hearing other people's goals when they're in there.
I was up to damn near 300 pounds. I think I'm down to like 288, 285.
Awesome.
So I go by Suitman, right?
Right.
When I was at the Savage Henry Festival, I tore a shirt. Because my stomach wouldn't hold it and just ripped.
Yeah.
There's a ton of my wardrobe I can't wear because my belly's too big.
Yeah, that sucks.
Right, and so I can't. I'm fat. I'm fucking tired of it. And that's just the truth of it, right?
You just want to take more control of your health and your physical being.
And, it's not like I'm not that. So I play softball. I'm not that out of shape. I don't huff and puff. I'm still so I grew up running track, being an athlete. And when I ran track, I wasn't the 100 or 200 guy. I was the 400, the 800, and the mile guy.
Yeah.
My fastest mile was like 4:32.
Dang.
Yeah, like I used to be fast.
You were moving.
And it's not even so much fast. I think the best one I do is like 4:18, but it's just about pace. Just running at a certain pace. It's not about being fast. Can you run 4:60s? Well, 60 ain't that slow. Ain't that fast, really, if you're fast.
I mean, 60 seconds around the track once? times 4? That's a brutal pace.
But it's not. I'm a math guy. You got to remember, that's why I think track was easy for me, because it was just math.
Okay.
I just got to keep staying at. I ran a 60, stay at this pace.
Yeah.
Ran another 60, stay at this pace. Ran a 62. Oh fuck! All right, we're at 302. That's not bad.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? Like when you treat it
Yeah.
like that, next thing you know, you're running a 4-minute, 18-second mile in 7th grade, and people are like, "How in the fuck did you do that?" Well, wasn't that hard? I mean,
So you're telling me all this stuff, and it sounds like you are good at making your body do what you want it to do. Would you agree or disagree with that statement?
yes and no.
I would love to hear more.
I think I'm at an age in my body where I know its limitations.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely good at getting my body to do what I want it to do. I think when I was younger, my body was in I've done some amazing things,
Uh-huh.
right? And so I think when I was younger, I just trusted myself to achieve whatever I could achieve.
Yeah.
And I think with age, I've put limits on what I can do, versus with youth, I believed I could just do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so between those two things, your body will achieve a lot of different things. When you stay within your lane and know what you can do and you're very good at it, then you look like this. He's fucking awesome. No, I just don't try to do shit I know I can't do, right? And then when you train hard enough and you believe and you put a process to it, proper preparation as a youth, then you're going to achieve some things that are pretty fucking incredible. And I think those are the intersections I've always had. Is I'm not the best athlete, but I am usually the best brain in the building. And if I'm not the best brain in the building, I'm probably the best athlete. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, sure.
So that intersection of two things makes me hard to deal with when it comes to a competitor or athletics, because I'm either the smartest athlete on the field, or I'm the most athletic smart guy on the field.
Yeah, that's a good combo. You sound like a friggin' standout defensive lineman right now.
Well, I was a defensive back in my day, but yes, I'm a hell of a defensive lineman. You're totally right.
You were a DB, and did you play high school, college?
So when I played high school, I was a DB. I was and a wide receiver. My senior year, I had 38 tackles in 6 games.
There you
I would
go.
have been better than that, but I blew out my shoulder halfway through the season and missed 3 games. I played semi-pro football for 12 years.
Holy cow.
I played for 10 different teams. I have the record for the amount of teams I played for. I started on all 10 teams.
Wow.
I
cool.
played quarterback, receiver, tight end, and fullback on offense. On defense, I played D-end, D-tackle, middle linebacker, and outside linebacker.
Oh, you were in the box.
I've thrown for touchdowns. I've caught touchdowns. I've ran touchdowns. I've had interceptions. I've had fumbles, and I've had a shitload of tackles.
Look at
I
that.
can play anywhere on the football field.
Yeah. Hell
Now,
yeah, dude.
I'm not fast enough to play DB anymore or play, safety.
Yeah.
But I can still line up a receiver at 6'2", 300 because you can't guard me.
Yeah.
You can't jam me. Yeah.
We got a 5'8" guy on you.
That was the thing. So I was about 6'2", 250, 260 when I was playing receiver. David Boston size, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is like, if you play jam, I'm chucking you. You can't really jam me.
Yeah.
My top end speed is just as good as yours.
Yeah.
So once we got running, like, yeah, I'm not fast on the beginning of my route, but if you didn't prepare to run with me, once I got up to speed, I ran past guys.
You're
So
a
they'd be sitting
locomotive.
there, and I'd get doom, 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 and then it'd be, and they'd be, oh, fuck it, I'm back. Too late.
Yeah.
Too late.
Later, sucker.
Check it, and I'm gone. And then not only that, but once I caught the ball, now you got to tackle me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not. I'm not trying to tackle you, Duante.
And that was another thing I've got, and that's the funny part. Like I could share my screen and show you hundreds of photos, but like, I played 12 years and people used to talk shit, and I was like, so have you ever seen a photo of me getting manhandled or abused? No, never. I've got pictures of me laying people out, choke slamming people, catching touchdowns, having people tackle me, but having to dive at my ankles, you know what I mean? Being a quarterback, stiff arming, running through shit. There are no pictures of me getting laid the fuck out.
I believe it.
Right? There are no pictures
of
me getting manhandled and thrown, and it's because if I wasn't athletic enough, I was smarter than you.
Uh-huh.
And if you were probably smarter than me on the field, then I was more athletic than you were. And that is the crossroad of how I've been able to survive as an athlete, whether it be basketball. Like in basketball, I was the roughest guard and the smallest forward you ever met.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I was 6'2", 225, 230 in my prime of playing ball. And I could dunk on you, rebound, block your shot. I could guard guards. I could guard big guys.
All.
Yeah. Now, I was under 6'8", so there's, you get a real powerful guy, you won. But guess what? That guy can't guard me on offense, right?
Yeah.
If you got a really quick guy, he might win. But guess what? He's not big enough to guard me on offense, right? So it was always this.
You're a matchup problem.
Bingo. No, the only problem is when I got a guy that was around my same size. Ooh. That's what, like, there's this one white guy. Fuck, what's his name? I can't remember his name, but this white guy for Bellingham. And he just shut me the fuck down.
Right.
Because he was another unathletic fucking player.
You just told me for 20 minutes you're athletic.
No, I'm not. I said I'm the most athletic, smart guy.
Okay.
And I'm the smartest athlete. There's a paradigm there. You get what I mean? Like, I am athletic, but I'm not that athletic.
Yeah.
I'm very smart, which, you know what I mean? But this white guy wasn't that fast, but he was kind of physical, and he just stayed in my hip pocket. I had no fucking catches.
Yeah.
We lost like 35-0, and everybody was like, why was it your fault? I was like, because I'm the leader. I got shut out.
Right.
If I get shut out at receiver over here, that means they're not worried about this side of the field. They were able to double team the white boy and the tight end over there. Nobody was worried about me over here.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
You're the tone setter, and when you set the tone like that, then that's trouble for the team.
Yeah. I'm usually out here rocking somebody's world, catching the ball, running somebody over, getting that ooh feeling.
Yeah.
I didn't make no ooh feelings today, sir.
No ooh feelings. We didn't get the ooze. Oh, no, you didn't get the ooze.
And then that's the part about being like a real athlete, a real competitor, a real entertainer. Like you saw I'm in comedy. I'm the same way in comedy. I'm an energy guy.
Yeah.
If I didn't bring the energy and I come off the stage and there was no energy brought, it's like, ooh,
that's a
skill.
skill.
Show.
That's a skill. Bringing the energy is a major skill, and people look at it like not quite a skill, but it's a skill. If you can bring the energy to a room, that's huge. You're a giant asset to whatever you're doing. So you've done a billion things, Duante. Like, what's left for you? What are you still like itching to do? It seems like you have so many interests and you have so much talent and drive. What are you still itching to do?
So I wrote a movie.
Ooh, hell yeah.
All right. You didn't send me your email address. I'll send it to you.
I emailed you. I'll send you another email. Yeah.
Oh, I got your email address. Sorry. I haven't added you to the list. I'll let you read my script. I wrote a script. It's going to be probably a trilogy, if not at least 2 movies. I got to write the second one. And I wrote it in 6 weeks.
Nice. That's, if you're rolling, you can do it.
No, actually. So I talked to somebody about that, and they were like, you did what? I said, I wrote a script in about 6 weeks. They were like, you're fucking kidding me. And I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about writers and people. They're like, no, it's not any good. And I was, oh, yeah, it is. And they're... I opened it up, started reading it. The guy looked at the format. I was like, oh, fuck, this is good. I was like, I told you. And then he read it, and he was like, hey, bro. Because it was a Polynesian guy. He's hey, bro. I don't want to lie to you. Fuck, I kind of want to record this thing, brother. I was like, I know, right? Oh, God. But I'm there, man. Like, we talked about health, but I've been working in mental health.
Yeah.
I don't hear you talk about that a lot on here, so I'll delve into that.
Jump in, yeah.
I'm a big proponent of mental health. That was my last job with CPC, working with people with mental health disorders, homeless, substance abuse. And I have found my health. I got my own place. That was huge for me. I have all my stuff here. I say all my stuff, my mom died, my grandpa's 94. I don't get to see my kids. So all my family stuff, my pictures, my 4th generation picture. I got a fucking charcoal drawing of when I was a kid on the wall. That picture's 36 fucking years old.
Mm.
Like, I have a place that's mine with my memories and all. Like, I'm almost gonna cry. It feels so good. But, like, I'm happy to be able to wake up. Like, you were on my podcast when I wasn't this happy when I was on my podcast. I was myself, right? But I wasn't like, hey, how you doing? I was like, hey, I gotta go downstairs and get some coffee. I hope I don't wake up my roommates. I'll try to. No, I'm in my own fucking place, right? And so finding this mental health safe space, right? Like I said, I hit a gas can yesterday and my car got fucked up. Usually I'd be hell bent and pissed. And I just now figured out. I'll knock it out. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, you're in a better place.
that safeness, that space. I grew up homeless as a kid, right, at times. Grew up on Section 8. I've never had my own space. The last time I had my own space was like 20-something years ago. So to be back to this mental health wellness, to be good in a mental health space, it's made me ready to do all these things. It's made me like, I got to write this second script, right? Like, I'm going to send you this script and I want you to read it, but you're going to get done and be like, hell yeah, you need to write the next one.
Ready
I've
for
already
round
got
2.
my points set up for the second one, and I already know where we're going with it. And I'm using the same characters from the first script because I already know what's, you know what I mean? Like, I'm a planner, so I already know what the second one's about. I just got to write it, right? So it's all these different things, and when you're finally there, right? Like, I lost the job that I was doing, and then I remembered I was union, so I went from making $24 an hour to making 32 this week because I went back to forklift driving. Who gets fired and gets a 33% pay raise?
That guy right there.
Right? These are, when you're in a good mental health space, you can do that. When you're not, and I'm not down in physical health, but when you're in a good mental health space, you get fired and you don't freak out and you find your resources and you remember you're in another union and you can just look for work. When you're not in a good mental health space, you go out drinking, you get drunk, you miss your workouts, you know what I mean? You fall apart. I'm not drinking anymore.
Yeah.
Right?
That's huge.
I'm not feeling bad anymore. I'm not waking up with hangovers. I'm not wasting 20, 30, 40 bucks. I'm buying Legos.
I'm buying Legos, y'all.
Bitches, right? I'm building my Ferrari car. I got Legos within reach, right?
I got Lego money for days.
Bitches, you know what I'm saying? But it's just different. And so, like, you find this crossroads where you're able to physically feel healthy and work on being healthy, and you're mentally feeling good, and everything else is easier. And like, for me, I did Def Comedy Jam in Seattle at a 200-person venue. We got 70 people there. It was somewhat profitable. I got some sponsors, right? So I know I can do it. I talked to the person in Sacramento. They wanted to do the show. We got a venue, and then they did their whole little thing. So now we're not doing it there, and the venue doesn't want to do it, which makes it seem like something went wrong on their end. They're still in the show. But the point is people do like the show. People do want to do it. If people are stealing your ideas, you're up to something, right?
Totally.
And all these things, they take time, right?
Everything
just
does.
Like your workout, right? You don't go do one workout and be like, that's it, I'm done. And it's the same thing with life. And so for me, like, writing the script, I've wrote it. You write the second one, I wrote it. Now what do? You shop it, right? Well, there's no hurry to sell my movie. It's a pretty personal idea. Nobody knows it, right?
Right.
I can release it as a book and see if that sells.
Yeah.
Right? It's already written. I haven't edited it. Went through and re-edited it, right? But maybe I just produce it as a book and I get a couple 100,000 in sales. And so then I do all these different things. But that's where it's at. Being the whole entertainer, finding ways to generate income streams so I don't have to work a real job.
Yeah. It's hard. Those streams are hard, though. But you're doing the right stuff. You're doing the work. You're putting the time in. You're putting the pen to page. You're doing the stuff that you got to do. You're getting your mental health right. So to get it right, what are some of the things that you have like focused on, or was there like a shift internally for you that you're like, no, I need to make some changes?
So I'll say a couple of things happened. So last 2 years ago, I was dating a girl from California. It was great. Whatever. We went through a hard breakup, a lot of mental anguish, a lot of drama, a lot of sexual issues, a lot of things, right? And so it left me kind of broken.
Mm.
And I've been searching. I got a job last year at Seattle U as a caterer and bought a ticket to Hawaii for last Halloween. Right after I saw you at Savage Dinner. I told you I was going to Hawaii, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then in that fall, they didn't renew the job and they didn't tell me, but I didn't care because I do all these stats things and I said I would try to figure out without a job,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then Hawaii came and I was unemployed, but I was making ends meet. And I was like, I don't know if I should go. I don't know what I'm going to do. And I went.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a fucking blast.
Oh, yeah.
10 days, right?
Mm.
And the person I went with, they paid for a lot of the drinks and stuff because they wanted to drink, right? And then they kind of looked at it as they didn't know I did comedy. They just knew me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when we got to the island and everybody was like Suitman and recognizing me from the cut and the internet, and we're in Hawaii on the beach, and people are like, hey, I know you. And I'm like, I know. Hi, you want a picture? And she's just looking at me like, right? Like on the 5th day of the vacation, she's like, I feel like I want a vacation with a celebrity. She's like, I know, right? Kind of cool. But I had a blast. I got my little turtle tattoo, right? Woo-hoo.
There it is.
Right? I had a fucking blast. I love Hawaii. Then I came back and I met this girl, and it's one of my jokes. I go, I know my dating life's going bad because I met this girl at a bar. And we decided to go somewhere else. And on the way there, she crashed and died in an auto accident.
Oh.
And all I could think was there's easier ways to ghost me. Also, how am I going to send her that dick pic now? No.
Oh, that's the saddest. That's horrible. Is that true?
It's all true.
That's
Right,
awful.
R.I.P. Adana. It's not a joke about her. It's just
Right.
That's how you deal with it.
It's a funny
right?
joke. It's a good joke. It's well done. Yes.
Guys send dick pics. How do I send it now that she's gone?
You got to send your dick pic with a Ouija board.
Right? I'm over here with a Ouija board on my dick. I think I might keep that.
Yeah, you're just teabagging the Ouija board. What do you want next, Donna?
Donna, where are you?
To put it in the tags. Yeah.
Oh, God. And for all of you watching this thing, you guys are terrible. No! This is how jokes get written by great comedians. Is you tell them a terrible joke, they tell you something more terrible. Next thing you know, we got 5 minutes talking about this dead lady that I didn't know. No. But, so she passed, right? And my good friend was with me. And, like, of course, we went and had a drink right after. Because, I watched her die. My friend took her out the car. I ran over and watched them pull her out the car and work on her. And then put her in the A car and not leave. There's a key thing. This is how you know when somebody's dead in an accident. When they put them in the aid unit and it doesn't leave.
They're like, we've done all we can.
There's a reason why there's a silence between us and you can feel it. It's deafening. Because there's a fucking tone. You don't just go through that, right? And then the worst part for me is it fucked me up. You saw my Facebook. I was fucked up for like 5 or 6 weeks. What you don't know is her family was messaging me talking about, you didn't know her, take down this, take down that. I didn't say anything. Fuck you guys. You didn't even know my sister and you're over here trying to get pity. I just watched somebody fucking die.
It's a lot.
Not only that, but they were following me. Right? And I'm still here. Right?
Yeah.
So, we talked about slowing down drinking, and then it was I know the date exactly. Everybody knows their sober date, right? February 8th, because it was a Tuesday before, February 6th, sorry. It was a Tuesday before Valentine's Day, right? I went to go do karaoke. I was bragging about my new job. I bought a drink, and then one of my friends I met there was talking about how he had a job similar, so he bought me a drink, and we were commiserating over our new jobs and how we were working with people. And I got done, and I felt like shit. And then I went home and felt like shit. And I just felt like I had a hangover, woke up the next day and felt like shit and was puking. I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. But I just don't. And about that time, I got told I had to move out of my house by May. A couple weeks later, I got told I had to move, which fucking stressed me out because I didn't have anywhere to live. I hadn't lived on my own.
Right.
And somehow, some way, I finally got an apartment, and I wasn't. That was the other part is when I moved, I wasn't gonna move into a place that didn't have a washer and dryer.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I wasn't gonna move into a place that was the one that just didn't have. Like, I had to have my own washer and dryer. I don't know if you've ever been homeless or lived in a apartment building with laundromat, then you'll understand. Washer and dryer is fucking huge.
Big time.
When you can just wash your clothes, when there's not a barrier of needing money to
It's
wash your
huge.
clothes.
So much time, energy, and steps saved.
I don't have to go get quarters. I don't have to go get cash. I don't need. What if I didn't put money on my card? I'm fucking broke. I don't have any money. I just need to wash this one outfit. What if you just want to wash one shirt? Right? Like, there's so many things that people don't understand about having your own washer. Like, so when I moved, it was like, I got to have these things. And then I got them all. And I moved in, and there's, like, I wish you could see my place. There's room for all of my things. Now, there's not a ton of room. You know, I could have a little more closet space, but all my things have a spot.
There you go.
And I moved in, and like right now, there's a table I got to sell. There's some car parts that I got to get rid of that are taking up some floor space. But for the most part, all my things have a spot, and they're in their spot. And growing up as a homeless kid with like issues like that, and having my own space has been great. I don't think there's one thing I could say was really just did it for me, but like getting to that place where I have my own space again, and my own routine and my own whatever.
Yeah, it's huge.
And that's huge. Like, I'm finally, this next month, I'm gonna start signing up for the local open mics to try to get out there again and work on getting some club work. But I hadn't had the feeling to do that. I didn't have the desire. You know, with me working, I didn't have time to do a podcast during the week because I was working a 40-hour schedule and then trying to do security. Whereas I can still work a 40-hour schedule when I want, but I pick and choose when I work. You know, like,
totally.
And then having that control, I think that's what I talked about. One of the things we talked about in our groups was the power of having choices is really freedom. The more choices you have, the more freer you are.
100%.
And if you don't have choices and you have to go to work and you have to get up and you have to go to bed and you have to stay to the you have to, it wears on you.
Definitely.
And I finally got to a point where I'm choosing what I do, how I do, where I do, and what I do. And that has made a huge, huge difference for me, my emotions, my work, my ethics. I don't even care. You know, it sucks to see everybody else get shows when you don't, but it doesn't hurt you as much when you're doing your own thing.
That's a big realization.
Right? When you're doing all your own shows and you got your own podcast and you got your own following and you got your own things, it's not that bad. But when you don't have your own things and you don't have your own podcast and you're trying to, you know, rely on other people, then it's hard.
It's a fine line between finding community and belonging and also staying true to yourself and doing the things that are most beneficial for you in order to like get your own place, to get in a space that's healthy for you. So like thinking about your earlier self or a version of yourself before now, what would you tell earlier Duante to like, hey, buddy, stay on this track or keep this in mind, or here's what I wish I would have known?
Man, I'm the key. If you look back at everything I've done, I've always had like groups of people want to be around me for a certain amount of period. Right? And then once they find out they can't get enough out of me or I'm not going to do things their way, they leave. There's not too many people who leave me and end up doing better. Right? And I think about that even as I've always been the key. Right? I didn't know it. I was Asperger's, but all the girls always thought I was funny, and my friends would fuck all the girls, and I didn't know who to hit on, so I'd just be sitting there alone.
Yeah.
Right? So if you don't come up to me and tell me I'm cute and you think I'm pretty, I don't think you're hitting on me. I'm Asperger's, right?
I hear ya.
And then it's just something that, like, I think everybody needs to hear. You are the star of your life.
Mm-hmm.
And if you thought about it, that everybody else is a co-star in your own movie, you might get a little further in your life.
Hmm.
And I remember when we were at the festival, one of the guy's girlfriends was tripping out because we were all having a good time. And she was like, I don't know. And there's so many people here I don't know. And I don't know who to talk to. And I looked at her, I said, think about this like a RPG. In your story, they're all NPCs.
Mm-hmm.
And for you non-nerds out there, they're non-playable characters. They don't matter. There's so many people in a video game that are just there to fill because you got to have 100 people in a town, right? There's 100 characters on a video game that you can talk to and say hi to, and they're not going to really interact with you. They're just going to say some scripted thing, just like real life. And that is something I've worked on. That is something I've had to really realize, is that I am the star of my movie, which is my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I decide if this is an Academy Award-winning movie or if it's on Tubi.
There's nothing wrong with Tubi.
Sure. Nobody's dreaming of being on Tubi, though.
He's got a special on Tubi. He said, fuck the Academy Awards.
He said, fuck NBC, ABC, and Netflix and all this money. I'm going straight to Tubi. Said,
I got Tubi money.
And we're definitely flying in Spirit Airlines and catching Greyhound across America, right? And so
Yeah.
I think that was the one, is that, and I give this advice to everybody. Remember, you are only as powerful as you believe, right? I wouldn't even say you believe. It's you're only going to be as successful as you want to believe you can be. A lot of people are going to hate you if you think you're bigger and holier now, and you think you're going to do all these great things. Great, cool. That's not your worry. It's not my worry that the guy across the street doesn't believe I can be a millionaire. It's my worry that the millionaires don't believe I can be a millionaire. Right? When I talk to rich people about the stuff I do, they're, oh my God, you need to keep working on that. When I talk to poor people, it's like, oh man, why would you do that, dude? Like, that's a whole lot of work. That's how you get there.
Yeah.
When this story comes out and I send it to you and you read the Medium, they're going to be gushing over me. Right? When business owners read this article about Suitman Productions, it's going to make it so much easier to get sponsors. When I've got this article that's posted online that's forever going to be there. Right? It's forever going to be out. Once it's published, it's there. I can get hard copies. This isn't something you can take away from me. And I think that's the thing. A lot of people want the results, and they don't put in the work.
Right.
And I think if you put in the work and you believe in yourself and you make yourself the star player and you do all the things, you treat yourself like a celebrity. You got to treat yourself like a celebrity. Say that again. Think about what I just said. You got to treat yourself like a celebrity. And when that starts happening, it's amazing. Like, I'm the suit man, but it's no difference between when I got the suit and when I don't have the suit on as far as who I am.
Yeah.
Right? So it's when you start doing that, being that, it's different.
Yeah. I love it. I love to hear about your story, how many roads you've walked on, and the confidence you have when you walk into a room and undergo anything. I think that it's really cool and inspiring to hear where you're at right now, Duante. And I'm stoked to see what you continue to do, because I love hearing it. I love hearing someone who's on the come up, who's busting their hind end to make things happen for themselves, because you know that you have to do it, and that's really admirable. So hell yeah, frickin' A. Let me know how I can be of service and how I can support on your team on the way up, okay?
Thank you.
Absolutely. Duante, I think that's a beautiful place to finish up. Is there anything you want to say at the close?
I would close on this. There's 4 billion people on this planet. Maybe 5 now, right?
I think there's maybe more.
Maybe 6. It's 5, 6, 7, or 8, right?
7 or 8.
let's say 7 or 8, right? There's so many people that are going to try to be something other than themselves. Be you, and be the best you can be. I lost my kids. I've been through a bad divorce. There's a ton of drama out there about me. There's a ton of things that could be said bad. That's somebody else's perception of who I am, not my own. And that's not narcissistic. It's narcissistic if you want to impress people with your idea of who you are and tell everybody. Not worried about that anymore, right? I'm worried about being the best version of who I can be today. And that's what you've got to do. Every day you've got to find a way to be a better version of than you were yesterday. And if you can do that, by the time you're done, you'll be a pretty good person. I don't give a shit if you started as a scumbag, a good person, or somewhere in between. If every day you're getting better and getting away from the bad habits, the bad person, the bad things, the bad juju, the bad stuff, if every day you're getting a little bit better on all that, you're definitely going to end up where you want to be. And that's kind of what I've been working on myself.
I love it. It sounds like you're doing a good job, admirable job of it right now. If people want to find more out about you online, how can they do it?
You can find me real simply, suitmancomedy.com, SUITMAN comedy.com. There's all our YouTube information, all our social media information, all our show calendars, where you can find us, all our projects, everything's on there.
Love it. Suitmancomedy.com. Find Duante Barnett whenever you get the chance. Duante, thank you for hanging out. Stick around for a minute or two after this. I'd love to chat a bit more. Thanks again. We'll talk soon. Give it up for Duante. He's the friggin' man.
Woohoo!
Jokes in the gym. Jokes in the gym. Not jokes in the gym. Jokes in the gym. Jokes in the gym. With Rudy Tyburczy.